So that was great. We got our desired response of traveling to the next screen. Now let's use some of the techniques we used in Unit 1 in order to make the loading look a little more realistic. So what I'm going to do is, instead of immediately transitioning to the next screen with this intent, I'm going to add a delay. So let me add another comment that says we're going to delay for 3 seconds before starting transition. We'll make a new handler dot post delayed. This is going to be a new runnable, and it will fill in the rest for us here. Now, this is a lot to remember. Notice I relied heavily on the autocomplete. I just kind of remember a few of the keywords, like we need to have a post delayed and a runnable, and then the autocomplete actually handles the rest. One more thing, I need a comma here. This is where my delay is in milliseconds. So if I want 3 seconds, I'm going to use 3,000 milliseconds. And here I'm going to end the statement with the semicolon. Now the code that we want to run after the delay goes here. And that is going to be, I'm going to cut and paste this. So I'm going to cut this and paste this. So this is going to be our, I'm going to take this comment there. All right, so after the delay, we're going to run this code. Now, we don't just want it to delay on the same screen, because then people might think that our app is just frozen. So let's use the technique we used before, where we'll switch the background to the loading screen while we delay to simulate the loading. So in order to change the background image on our image view, I need to be able to communicate with it. And to do that, I need to open up a line of communication, just like we did here. So to do that, I have to give our image view an ID. So let's go back to the layout of our login and make sure we have the image view selected and go to ID. Since this is an image view, I'm going to use the prefix IV for image view. And then I'm going to say, I'll call this background. Okay, so now it has an ID. Let's go back to our login activity Java, and let's open up a line of communication. So I'm going to make a variable for this image view. It's going to be of type image view, and I'll call it the same thing that we named it for the ID. So I'll call it IV background. And I'm going to use, again, my find view by ID. I'm going to tell it to look in the R folder, in the ID section, and look for IV background. Look, it's right there. Awesome. Now, again, it's going to give us this red line. Can you guess why it's giving us this red line? You're right. It's because this is expecting an image view, but it's getting back a view. So we need to say explicitly that this is of type view, what's called cast it as an image view. And now it's okay with that. If we didn't type that in, we can see if Android can help us out by holding alternate return, and it gives us some suggestions. Now we have to know enough about what to do in order to choose the right one. But we know that in this case, we need to cast to Android widget image view. We need to cast it as an image view, and it will add that. So now this gives us our line of communication with the image view. Now that we've set up a line of communication between the Java file and the actual image view, we can tell that image view to reset the image inside it to the one we want. In this case, it's going to be a loading image. Let's go to our drawables and see what the name of that file is. Okay, here's one that says login loading. All right, this is it. This is the file we're going to add. So just remember some of this. Remember, it starts with scn screen YP for Yelp login loading. We're going to have autocomplete help us with the rest. Back to our login activity. Here we can refer to our image background as IV background. And we're going to use a method called set drawable, set image drawable. We'll use another method called get resources, and one final one called get drawable. Now, don't mind that it's crossed out for now. We don't need to worry about that. Now, just like for up here in the find view by ID, we said go look in R and then the ID part, and then in the actual ID, here we're going to say R dot drawable, because this is in a little different folder. It's in the drawable folder, dot scn. Okay, and so just typing scn gives me what it might be. Oh, here we go, scn yp login loading. That's the one we want. Okay, now let's run this to see if it works. Okay, log in. Okay, that worked great. Just a few things though. Did you notice how the login button stayed hovering here, as did the fields? We need to hide those so it looks a little more realistic. Let's do that now.